Hello! Hi, hello there, welcome or welcome back to my channel where I talk about whatever I want, which, if we're being honest, it's mostly about books. In today's video, I want to share with you guys some of my books that I want to read on 2025, so my TBR list of 2025. Some of these books I already have waiting for me on my bookshelf, and there's a couple of those books in this list that I have not bought yet, but I will get to eventually when I want to read them. Most of these books are a mix of fantasy or dark fantasy, romance, villain-centric. So the vibes are pretty much the same as the books that I read during 2024. So if you guys want some quick list and reviews of what I've read so far in 2024, make sure to check my first video because I do a 2024 book recap where I just share with you guys everything that I read. Okay, for now, I have 18 books I want to read in 2025. However, my goal is still going to be 16 minimum. I want to get to 16 because I found out last year that's the amount of books that I read, and I found out that it was very digestible and very manageable to read 16 books throughout the year. There were some months where I read more than one book, and then there were other months where I just didn't read anything at all. So I feel like 16 is a very good pace for me. It feels attainable, it feels possible. So yeah, however, there's 18 books in this list, and I am hoping that I get to actually read those 18 books in 2025. So yeah, also there's a very high chance I might end up adding a lot of other books throughout the year. So without further ado, let's get started with my 2025 TBR list. So the first book that I'm excited to read this 2025, and the book with which I will be opening the 2025 reading season, is Vicious by B.E. Schwab, followed by their second book in this series called Vengeful. These books have been catching my attention for the past couple of months. I've been listening or stumbling upon certain videos of people talking about these books and recommending these books. However, it wasn't until after the second season of Arcane came out that I saw some people talking about how if you really enjoyed Jace and Victor in Arcane Season 2, and even Arcane Season 1, but more specifically Arcane Season 2, if you really enjoyed their dynamic and you're sort of like dying for a little bit more of that Jabik dynamic, then Vicious would definitely be a book you should be reading. And that honestly just, listen, I'm a simple girl, okay? I'm a simple girl and I'm in Jabik hell right now, so I cannot wait to get into this book. Like, that sold me. I don't know what else to say. That sold me. That's all I needed to hear, okay? The second book in this list is Immortal Dark by Taijist Girma. This is a series of books. I think so far there's 3 books in this series, but I'm only going to be reading the first one this year. And maybe if I really enjoy it, I'm gonna get to buying the rest of the books because I don't have them yet. This book honestly caught my eye because of the cover, which I think is just like super beautiful and mysterious, but also because it's a story about vampires. And at this point, you may not know, but if you come from my Twitch community, hi, hello, thank you for being here. But also, you know that I absolutely am obsessed with vampires. I love vampires. And anytime there's like a new book that I've never heard of that's about vampires, I just eat that shit up, you know? So yeah, this one has a very beautiful cover and it's also about vampires. And it's like a young adult fantasy romance story. And that is just something that's right up my alley. I don't know much about the plot. I don't really read the summary of most books that I get because I sort of want it to be a surprise, you know? Like I just choose books based on vibes. That's really what I do. And this one, listen, the vibe check is hella passed, and I'm very excited to get to it. So yeah, I hope I enjoy it, and I hope I can get to the rest of the books in this series. The next book is An Academy for Liars by Alexis Henderson. I have already read Alexis Henderson's 2 other books, and I absolutely fucking love them. I personally adore her writing style. I think it's incredible, and it just speaks to me so personally. So I'm pretty sure that I'm going to enjoy An Academy for Liars just as much as I enjoyed House of Hunger and The Year of the Witch. Alexis has a way of like fully immersing you in the universe her characters live in, and it's just these very beautiful, gothic, horror-esque fantasy spaces, and it just like hooks you in, you know? I love it so much. This book is like a mystery fiction horror fantasy, so I just know I'm gonna love it. The next book is Throne of the Fallen by Carrie Maniscalco, and I'm going to be completely honest, I have absolutely no idea what this book is about. I saw the cover and I was immediately taken away by how beautiful it looks. It's such a beautiful cover. Just look at it. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. I love it so much. Looking at it on Goodreads, it says it's like a fantasy romance novel, which seems to be right up my alley as well. However, I am completely guilty of just picking books based on their covers and then finding out once I'm reading them if I like them or not, if the plot calls to me or not. But I'm excited to read this one, however, because I have heard a little buzz online about it. So yeah, I just figured it's probably gonna be good because it's got such a pretty cover. So yeah. Next is for my MLM/BL readers. I'm going to be reading Swordcrossed by Freya Mars. I'm dying to read more BL romance books in the same spirit as Red, White, and Royal Blue and the Captive Prince series, which I did read last year and I will be reviewing shortly later this year. This book caught my eye because of how pretty the cover is and because it's a romance fantasy story with 2 male protagonists. So yeah, I'm sold. Moving forward this year, I really do want to find more queer-centric stories. So if you guys have any suggestions, please share them with me because I am dying to read more books where the main characters that fall in love and, you know, go on adventures together are queer. So yeah. Next, sort of following the same note from Swordcrossed, I really want to read Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I've had this book on my bookshelf for years at this point. I'm pretty sure it's been like 3 years or maybe even more. And I always postpone it because I want to read it when the time is right, whatever that means to my brain. However, I know it's just like I'm just postponing a good crying session because I know this book is gonna squeeze my heart out and hurt me so deeply. But on 2025, I have decided that this is the year I will read it, and this is the year that I will be suffering with pride. So I'm very excited about that. Following that same note, I also want to read Circe by Madeline Miller as well. I adore Greek mythology and I love retellings of the classic tales that we've heard of the Greek gods in the past. So I also know this book has like a cult following at this point. People adore Circe by Madeline Miller, and I just really want to find out what this book is about. Like with all the previous books, I haven't read the summary. I haven't read a description of what it is. I just know it's related to Greek mythology, and that's honestly all I really need. So yeah, I'm feeling very optimistic and I can't wait to get to it. So this one is definitely going to be on my top priority this year. Next, we have the Caraval series by Stephanie Garver, which includes the book Caraval, Legendary, and Finale. How do you even say that? Hold on. Finale. Good. Which includes the Caraval, Legendary, and Finale. It's, from what I know, it's a young adult romance fantasy series where I can't say I know what happens because I have not read a single summary or review of this series at all. I'm going completely blind into this. I'm gonna be finding out what it is about as I open the first book because I don't know what's gonna I don't know if it's fantasy, I don't know if it's fiction, I don't know if it's like a circus theme, I don't know if it's like dystopian, I have no idea what it is. I'm just gonna read it. So yeah, I, in all honesty, picked it up because it was on sale as like a package of the 3 books in Amazon like a year and a half ago. So I was like, damn, okay. And I bought it. Also because I am kind of interested in reading the Once Upon a Broken Heart series as well. And I did see a couple of comments online of people saying that you don't have to read Caraval, but there's like some like intertwined stories there. You sort of see mentions of other characters and whatnot, and that it is recommended that you read Caraval first before you read the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. So I was like, sure. And I want to read the Once Upon a Broken Heart series because I think the covers are very pretty and the titles sound really nice. So yeah, I don't know what it's about. I have no idea what it's about. And I guess I'll find out as I read this story. But I hope I find it very enjoyable. Next in the list, I have the Folk of the Air series by Holly Black, which includes The Cruel Prince, The Wicked King, and The Queen of Nothing. I've been hearing about this series for the longest time, dude. It's everywhere, and I've had it sitting on my bookshelf for a little bit more than a year at this point, because this one also was on sale as a bundle, so I got the 3 books, and I just haven't gotten to reading it, but I really want 2025 to be the year where I read this book and obsess over it. I feel very comfortable getting into this story so many years later since it came out, because I know the fandom is still thriving. I know that every year there's new people coming into this book series and falling in love with it, and the fandom is so strong and so alive that I'm just, I'm gonna find people to yap about it with because they love it. So yeah. What I know about this series is that it's also like a romance fantasy novel with fae and magic. So that's really right up my alley as well. So I'm excited to really explore this universe and its characters. Next, we're coming back around. We're going full circle with vampires yet again because I really want to read So Thirsty by Rachel Harrison. This is another book I am choosing solely and purely because of the cover. Because look at it, it is beautiful. And also because it's about vampires. You caught me yet again. You've caught me. I do not know what the story is about, the setting, the characters, the plot. I don't know anything. But I do know that I love vampires and I love a beautiful cover. So we're diving fully blind into it as well. I did see it being recommended as an October read. So I am guessing it might be a little bit horror-esque, but I'm not sure. I will get back to it once I read it. I guess we'll find out. Next, we have A Dark and Drowning Tide by Alison Saft, which is yet another queer-centric fantasy and romance story between 2 female characters. I love that for myself. I honestly picked this book because firstly, women. Secondly, the cover is so beautiful and intriguing. And thirdly, what's better than women in love with each other? I don't know. Somebody tell me, because I genuinely don't know. I love how the cover feels super gothic and dark and a mysterious romance story. I don't know what this is about. And I'm hoping that it fits into my taste of books because I really want to love this story. I can't wait to get to know these 2 female protagonists and see how their relationship sort of starts flourishing and the adventures that they go into and the world that they live in. So yeah, I'm very excited about that, and I have very high expectations about it. Lastly, but definitely not least, we have The Warm Hands of Ghosts by Catherine Arden. This book, I think I saw it being mentioned in a spooky books to read during October post in Fable, which is the social media-ish app that I use to log the books that I'm reading. From what I can remember, this book is supposed to be a historical fiction based on the Great War. And I think it has some ghosts or paranormal or supernatural things happening mixed with some magic, but I do not know. I know it's a little bit horror. I know it's a little bit ghostly. I know it's historical fiction, but I don't know. I don't know. But I'm very excited to read it. I do want to read more books that are a bit horror-esque. So yeah. Now, if I'm being honest, there is a chance I might not read some of the books listed in this video because my brain works in mysterious ways. And if I see a book that speaks to me throughout the year, I will most likely just hyperfixate on it and push some of these other books down the priority list. But I want to do my best to actually read through all of these books this year. Some of these books are books that I've been really wanting to read for the longest time. And I figure instead of just hoarding a bunch of more books that I will not get to, how about I actually read the ones that I already have in my bookshelf? There's a couple I don't have yet, but the ones that I have, how about I actually get to reading those instead of buying new books? That's a very logical way of thinking. However, I am not very logical when it comes to books. My goal for this year is that I will be able to come back to this video at the end of 2025 during around December, hopefully. And I will be able to be like, oh yeah, I did read all of these books. And I read a couple more that I will be adding on my 2025 reading recap at the end of that year. Let me know if you've read or heard of any of the books that I mentioned today. And also, share with me some of your reading goals for this 2025. Do you want to read more fiction, more horror? Do you want to read less romance? Do you want to read more mangas? Feel free to share your TBD list in the comments if you want. I will be seeing you all very, very soon, hopefully, so please take care. Feel free to join me on Twitch for some chatty and silly times if you want. Or feel free to join our Discord community for book talks and for our book club that I am hoping is thriving this year. I do want to do a lot more books within our own community because I think that's going to be super fun. And doing the book club hangouts is also going to be really, really fun. So yeah, we definitely need more readers in our community. So if you're interested in any of that, please consider visiting our Discord community server. So yeah, I will be seeing you all very, very soon. Take lots of care, and I will be back very soon with my individual reviews for the books that I read during 2025. All right, so I'll be seeing you guys later. Bye!